Welcome to NetWitness 12.4, New Features Training. In this video, we will discuss the Response Actions Server and Quick Actions feature. It is a new service that will be orchestrated to NetWitness admin server as a default, which is known as the Response Actions Server. Now this Response Actions Server facilitates users to post data to a third-party tool, like ThreatConnect, which will help them in simplifying the communication between their different tools in their SOC. Also fastens their detection and response capabilities. Now let's look at a short demo of what the feature is all about. As we know, the ThreatConnect has something called the playbook, which will help them to automate their SOC operations. Now these playbooks can be triggered using different trigger points. One of the triggers is the webhook trigger. We can leverage this webhook trigger to trigger a playbook from NetWitness. For example, this is a playbook that has been created for the demo purpose. You can see here a webhook trigger defined, and this webhook trigger would be triggered when a user hits this URL, which is very unique to this particular playbook. And there are certain configurations provided for security purposes like basic authentication. Now let's see how we can trigger this playbook from NetWitness. To do that first, we have to configure this particular playbook on NetWitness. You can do that using the new service which is called the Response Actions Server. Navigate to the Explore page of this new service. And you can see in the Explore view that there is an option to configure the ThreatConnect right over here. So once you have this configuration tab opened, you can configure all the details needed for this particular ThreatConnect instance. For example, the host would be the IP or the domain name of the ThreatConnect instance. The instance ID is the organization ID if this playbook is enabled from ThreatConnect side. Then for the port is the default port to connect to the playbook webhook trigger is the 443 port. The prefix URL is the default URL that is provided by the ThreatConnect instance. If you have to use proxy, then set this to true. For use SSL, set to true to enable SSL connection. Verify SSL is required based upon verifying the identity of the ThreatConnect instance. The username and password are the same username and password credentials that is provided for a playbook webhook trigger. Now something to keep in mind is that if different playbooks are using the webhook trigger from NetWitness, it is mandatory that all these playbooks have the same authentication configuration, which means if all the playbooks have this enable basic authentication enabled, then all the playbook webhook triggers should be having the same configuration, such as the enable basic authentication, as well as the username and password. So once the ThreatConnect instance is configured, the next step is to create the response actions. To do that, navigate to Configure, and there is a new tab that has been created which is called the Response Actions. Select the Response Actions. The Response Action accesses a template that will help you to define your quick action. The quick actions help to execute a particular playbook by using the data posted from NetWitness. To create a response action, the following details are required. Let's look at response action that has already been created. The action name defines the quick action name. The URL path is a unique URL path that differentiates a particular playbook from other playbooks. For example, this particular playbook has a unique path, which is the playbook foo. So we add the same URL path right over here, and description if it's applicable. We have something called the applicable metas over here. When this is configured, you can perform a quick action on a particular meta key. All the response actions would be displayed according to the applicable meta key that is configured over here. For example, if a user performs a connection IP.source, then demo action would be displayed, but if the user performs a quick action on IP.destination, then this particular response action would not be available for that particular meta key. Then we have something called the parameters. The default parameter is the parameter key on which this particular selected meta key value is sent over. And we have some other parameters, which are optional parameters that can be added, based upon the requirements of the playbook, defined on ThreatConnect. Here, we have the parameter key. This is the key that would be posted to ThreatConnect. Then, we have the parameter type. This will help the users to sanitize the data that has been sent from the NetWitness. For example, here we use the string, but their other types are available, like number, email, and IP. These two options help to define this parameter in the quick action. For example, the parameter label helps, for user identification purposes, in the quick action. Also, the placeholder does the same, so once this configuration is made, you can save the response action. Now to execute this response action, users can go to the Investigate page, select any context-enabled meta, and perform a quick action. For that we can open the respond for the use case. Right over here, we have a meta that has a context enabled. Then when you open the Context Highlights panel, you can see there is a new option, called Quick Actions. When you select Quick Actions, you can see it is available, which is called Demo Action. Then this is the meta key, and the meta key here is IP address_address. Now Demo Action is displayed for this meta key, because we have configured this response action for IP_address. Now once I select the response action, or the quick action and click Continue, the data 1.1.1.1 would be posted, against the key value called meta value, and any additional information is the parameter label. That is part of the parameters. Right over here, you could see that any additional info is displayed here, and the placeholder which gives additional context to the user, like what values need to be passed to ThreatConnect. For example, I can simply post an additional IP to be blocked on ThreatConnect. So based upon the playbook that is defined on ThreatConnect, your response action can be customized with whatever number of parameters that can be sent to ThreatConnect, and this is a comment that will help them for auditing and logging purposes. Let's add a quick comment here. So, once I add the required details, I can click on Confirm, then you will get a success message if the action has been performed successfully. If there is a failure, we show a failure message. Now we can do the same using the Recon panel, or the investigation page. For example, here I can select this particular meta, and perform a quick action, and you can see the same quick action is available over here. But if I select a different meta, for example, country.destination, and perform a quick action, you can see that there are no quick actions available for the meta country.destination, so an error message is displayed. This is because no defined response action supports meta including country.destination. We could also quickly check what are the quick actions that were performed for this particular meta value previously, using the same quick actions option, and by clicking on the action history, you could see admin has performed 3 quick actions in the past on this particular meta 1.1.1.1. Now if you wish to look at all the quick actions that have been executed in the past, you could go to Configure Response Actions, and then we have this action history, where all the response actions that have been performed in the past are listed down. Now if there is a failure in performing or executing a response action, we display the failure message in the Overview section right over here. The reason for the failure and the response code, if there are any, that have been sent from the ThreatConnect instance. You can see this is a successful operation, and we can see the data posted to ThreatConnect. Also, the comment posted over here. Now once the data has been received on ThreatConnect based upon the playbook definition, the data would be processed accordingly on the ThreatConnect side, and ThreatConnect can forward this data to any EDR solution or a firewall to perform blocking a host or unblocking a host, or it could perform additional analysis on the IP pass that has been passed on ThreatConnect. And the data posted to ThreatConnect would be a JSON. This is a sample JSON for the action we performed which has a key called meta value, and additional parameters. You could see that meta values populated over here, and additional parameters that we have entered in the quick action would be populated as an array. And name of the NetWitness user who has performed this action would be also added to the payload that would be sent to ThreatConnect, along with the comment that we add in the quick action, and the action ID which is unique to this particular action, and the name of the action that was executed. This is all about the new feature, that response actions server and the quick action. In the future, we will be looking forward to adding third-part tools in the upcoming releases. Thank you.